Alright guys, today is finally the day. I'm a bit sick, so if you notice that my voice is slightly different than usual, it's mostly because of that. But anyways, back on topic, today is the day where I finally unlock the main car of this Drive Syndicate 13, which is no more and no less than the Koenigsegg Chimera. And well, today we'll be talking a bit about how expensive it was in the general context, but I will make a proper video making the entire financial breakdown of this Drive Syndicate 13 in a couple of days, more or less, because well, today I am just focusing into how was the feeling while progressing through this Drive Syndicate 13 and that stuff, as well as my first impressions in regards to the main Drive Syndicate car itself, which is the Koenigsegg Chimera, as I have just said. So with nothing else to add, let's jump straight into it. Alright, so I will be extremely honest with you all guys, this Drive Syndicate will be slightly more expensive to complete than the previous one, mostly because the cars required have a different blueprints structure, because if you are considering to use real money bundles in order to upgrade and start up these required cars, as it's the case of the Dodge Hellcat and the Thembo Aurora Agile, you will need more money than expected, because for the Hellcat, for example, I had to spend like 25 bucks more than I expected because, well, it's a 5-star car compared to the previous syndicates where we had to use 4-star cars most of the time, because I remember that there was a syndicate where a Jaguar was required for the very first chapter or something like that, and that car was as well a 5-star car. But anyways, in the general context, you will have to spend a bit more because the Hellcat, to begin with, requires more blueprints than usual, and also the Thembo Aurora Agile will be more expensive, but not for the reasons you think, because to begin with you need 267 blueprints in order to completely max out the Thembo Aurora Agile from 0 blueprints all the way to the 6th star. But the bundles distribution this time was slightly different, because for the very first stars you require more bundles that, despite weren't necessarily more expensive, in the general scheme of things they ended up adding a couple of more dollars than I anticipated. So yeah, maxing out the Thembo Aurora Agile this time was a bit more expensive than on the previous syndicate. The good thing is that since on this ultimate pass, on this season ultimate pass, you don't have blueprints of this Thembo Aurora Agile, as it happened with the Pagani Zonda Cinque, which on the previous syndicate you could unlock the car itself by purchasing the ultimate pass. The ultimate pass could be delayed in a way that I could purchase it a bit later in order to, completely gold max the Thembo Aurora with the epic wildcards that were contained within this new ultimate pass. So in a way it was helpful, because thanks to the epic wildcards I had from the previous season, along with the new epic wildcards I obtained once I purchased this ultimate pass, I managed to completely gold max the Thembo Aurora Agile, which is a car I truly enjoy driving, and I think I might even make a video about it, because I do really think it's quite an interesting car to make a video about, but also because in a way it feels like the king, the A-class king we will never get, because it will basically never be within the Elite A time limited event where all the other Elite A-class cars are placed. Obviously, this car requires 16 epic import parts in order to be completely gold max, and thanks to the ultimate pass I got like 10, then I purchased the bundle, which gave me like 4 extra epic parts for this car, and at the end I had to spend like 350,000 syndicate coins just to purchase 2 more epic import parts of this Thembo Aurora Agile in order to gather all the 16 epic import parts I needed to completely gold max this car. But I have to admit that I regret absolutely nothing, because once you completely gold max this car, it feels really nice to drive, and it's a car I had a ton of fun with on multiplayer, so that's why I said I have absolutely no regrets. Right after this Thembo Aurora Agile, I had to run a couple of races with the Bugatti Bolide, which I already had at gold max, so it's not like I had to spend any kind of resources during that stage. So I mostly use the Bugatti Bolide stages just to collect as many syndicate coins as I could possibly gather, mostly because the final stage of the Drive Syndicate, where you have to upgrade the Koenigsegg Chimera and all that stuff, is a quite expensive stage in terms of Drive Syndicate coins usage, because you have to basically spend like 1.5 million syndicate coins or something like that only in packs and upgrades for the Koenigsegg Chimera. So the final part part of the Drive Syndicate is most of the time the most difficult one, assuming you have some of the cars already gold max before the event itself, which was my case. But all in all, you know, I have been quite annoyed by this Drive Syndicate special event itself, you know, because most of the time I had to spend more than I expected. Also, I ran out of Drive Syndicate coins earlier than I expected as well. So all in all, for the final car I ended up unlocking from this Drive Syndicate 13, I have to admit it wasn't that worth it, because I already told you that this Koenigsegg Chimera is nothing new, brings nothing new to the game, it's not like a game breaker, and I get that not all the cars can be game breakers or game changers or stuff like that, but still for such an expensive special event, which is what basically these Drive Syndicates are, I don't think the Koenigsegg Chimera lives up to the hype we had for this Drive Syndicate 13. So yeah, guys, that's why I basically told you guys not to go too seriously for this Drive Syndicate. Maybe get the Dodge Challenger Hellcat, maybe get the Themba Aurora Agile if you are able to, but I don't think it's worth to go further past the Themba Aurora Agile stage, because the Bugatti Bolide stage, if you don't have the car, will be extremely expensive, and the final stage, just as I said, if you are not properly prepared, you will have to spend more money just to get extra syndicate coins from the offers and that stuff. So it's not like this entire event is free to play friendly. I mean, I think most of you guys already know that. This being said, I have to admit that I will have to purchase the extra bundles in order to max out the Koenigsegg Chimera, so I can properly check it out once the Drive Syndicate ends and I am able to completely gold max the Koenigsegg Chimera itself. And also I will have to purchase some epic import parts for this Koenigsegg Chimera in order to, you know, gather all the 16 epic import parts that this Koenigsegg Chimera requires as well in order to be gold max. So I will have to keep spending in order to find out how good this Koenigsegg Chimera is once you test it out at gold max stats. Credit given where credit is due though, I have to admit that this Drive Syndicate introduced some changes which were quite cool, basically for all kind of players, because for example, we got the chance to use overclock in some of our Drive Syndicate cars, which helped quite a bit in order to save up some Drive Syndicate coins. Because you could meet the requirements without having to necessarily upgrade the car or reach a specific star or something like that. So I think that in general that was a quite cool change to see. Also, you know, they maintain this system where if you have the car completely maxed out, you get like an absolute ton of Drive Syndicate points as well as Drive Syndicate coins if you pick the very best mission from each chapter, so you can complete an entire chapter by doing one single race, which I think it's really cool and quite time efficient, because instead of being an extremely grindy event like these Drive Syndicates used to be, this new format of Drive Syndicates help all kind of players to complete the entire event more easily. I am not saying like the Drive Syndicates are the very best kind of special events or anything like that, but you know, it's cool that they introduce some kind of changes. I would like to recommend something to GameLove, is that if you already own the Koenigsegg Chimera, you should be able to upgrade your Koenigsegg Chimera with credits rather than waiting 21 days as I have to in order to be able to upgrade my car with credits, because for the entire duration of the Drive Syndicate event, you are not able to upgrade your Koenigsegg Chimera with credits. Even if you already own it, if you already got the key and that stuff, you are not able to upgrade it because you have to wait until the event is over, so the Drive Syndicate coins turn into credits, which is quite annoying, because if I paid and I unlocked a car, I should be able to upgrade it without having to pay even more money to buy more Syndicate coins, because the other option is to basically wait 21 days for the event to conclude so I can finally use my credits. I don't think that's a cool detail, and I think that GameLove should figure out a way to upgrade your cars once you unlock them from the Drive Syndicate itself. But all in all, that's what we have so far. So now it's your turn, guys. Let me know how far you have progressed so far into the Drive Syndicate 13, if you are seeking to unlock the Koenigsegg Chimera, or if you already settled down with the Themba Aurora Agile or even the Bugatti Bolide, because I heard that some of you guys were trying to unlock the Bugatti Bolide, and well, that might be a bit expensive depending on your garage and whatnot, but still could be a quite cool goal if you already own some blueprints from the Bugatti Bolide and that stuff. But anyways, let me know in the comment section, make sure to drop your massive like, and I will see you really soon as usual with the multiplayer test of this Koenigsegg Chimera. So I will see you really soon, guys. Goodbye.